Happy Wednesday, everybody. Today's video, I'm going to be a little more vulnerable than normal. I'm going to be sharing something from my spiritual journal, this ratty old thing. So for context, about 2 weeks ago or so, the community of spirituals gathered together for a moment of prayer, like sometimes we do. A lot of times we gather together for adoration. This particular time, we were gathered in a circle and there was instrumental music in the background, and it was that environment as opposed to the chapel environment. And it was a moment of silent prayer, each of us individually opening ourselves up to God. And in my particular case, I was very intentional about letting go of thoughts that I wanted to speak to God about, and rather allow Him to take the lead for that prayer. Father, what do you want to tell me? Help me to hear you speaking in my heart. Very quickly, I just heard Him say, "You can cry in my arms." So, of course, first I wrote it down, because I like to write things down, and then I cried. And now I'm going to scramble for words as I try to describe what that was like a little bit. But I remember, well, there was like a twinge of embarrassment, because like there was a group of 20 or so people around me, and suddenly I found myself crying in front of them all. Granted, they all had their eyes closed in theory and weren't seeing me, but they could hear me. But it didn't matter. I needed to cry in that moment. And I just accepted this embrace that I felt from the Father, and I cried. One of the other Spiritus team members, Alexa, was sitting on my left, and she grabbed some tissues for me, which I needed, and then she just rested her hand on my shoulder and was with me in that moment. A little after that, I remember continuing to listen for God's voice and hearing Him say, "It's going to be okay," which was wonderful to hear. That was nice. And also it was unusual because normally in the past sometimes I feel like God speaks to me. You don't have to believe me, that's fine. Usually I don't feel like God speaks more than once. And this is twice, and I felt like He spoke to me a couple more times after this too. After that, I remember deciding just not to write down things for a while, because as wonderful as it was going to be to have these words later to reflect on, I just wanted to be in that moment. And words fell short anyways, so that was fine, right? I mean, I was imagining myself in the Father's arms. And usually when I'm being hugged, I'm not writing something down at the same time. Time went on, and eventually, I'm a very emotional up and down person. It felt like the moment began to pass, and I was like, no, wait, I'm enjoying this moment. God, come back. This is wonderful. But eventually I came out of the moment. What can you do? And I was like, oh shoot, I wonder how much more time of prayer we have together right now. I'm kind of done, guys. We should all, can we all move on? It's fine, it's fine. I just already had my moment, and you guys should hurry up with yours. But in the meantime, I remember just asking God a question like, where'd you go? Why don't you come back? And then it felt like He said to me, just kind of almost imparting, you can find me in charity. Love your brothers and sisters. And I thought, oh crap, that's hard. That's really hard. That's my weak spot. And that was very impactful, because it's not always easy to love everybody. And yet it's so important. And by loving people around me, I can love God. By recognizing that the people around me are all loved by God. I mean, if I want to love God, I need to love the people that God loves. Be able to see the wonder and the beauty that God has imbued in these people. So important to be able to see that and to rest with that and to marvel at that. And one final little thing that I felt like God said to me as I was coming out of this moment of prayer was just simply, Peter, I'm proud of you, which was important for me to hear. All right, that's my story. To be honest, I'm not sure how this story will come across. Let me know. I don't feel like this is typically the sort of story that I would share. But as I was trying to think of what video I wanted to make, this experience just kept coming back, and eventually I decided I had to record it. I couldn't get around it. Very abstract. Good luck. I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, I'm praying for you guys. God bless and ciao. Here are some words. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy, and we can stop for coffee.